Hey everyone, ready to make AV at your events a little less mysterious.
Yeah, today's deep dive is all about giving event planners like you the know-how to navigate AV, even if you're not a tech wizard.
We've got two really useful sources today,
Yeah, starting with simplified initial screening questions.
which don't let the name fool you. This is like your secret weapon for decoding all things AV,
Right, right. And then we'll get into the post-production debrief meeting process.
which is like having a time machine, but for making your future events even more awesome.
So both these sources, what's really interesting, they both really highlight like how important clear communication is,
Right.
both in the planning up front and then, that post-event analysis. That's where the magic happens.
Okay, so let's jump right in with those initial screening questions, the ones you ask yourself and the AV team, like before things even get started.
Yeah.
So why are these so important?
Think about trying to build a house without a blueprint.
What?
Chaos. Right.
Yeah.
These questions are your blueprint. They give the AV team a clear understanding of what you need so they can put together the right system.
Okay, so let's walk through some of these, starting with the most basic: event type, date, duration, and attendance. Why are these vital?
Well, they really set the stage, literally.
Mm-hmm.
The type of event, like whether it's a conference, a gala, a product launch, it dictates like the whole AV approach. And then date, duration, that's important because it tells us like what equipment, how much time for setup and tear down.
Oh, okay.
Attendance is super important for things like the capacity of the sound system. You don't want people in the back row straining to hear.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, what about the AV needs section? We've got sound, lighting, visuals. Help break it down.
So, this is really outlining the big picture, for your tech needs. Do you need microphones? What kind of lighting will set the right atmosphere? Are we talking projectors, LED walls, maybe even interactive displays?
Right.
It's okay if you don't know the specific equipment yet. It's more about communicating the general AV support you'll need.
Gotcha. So it's like a broad stroke before we get into the finer details. I like that.
Exactly.
Now, setup details. Why is this so important?
Well, this is really all about how the space is going to be used, right? Will there be a main stage and breakout rooms? Do you need multiple setups throughout the event? These details can really impact equipment choices. It might even impact the number of technicians you need.
Right.
Like, imagine having a beautiful stage setup, but you realize you don't have enough power outlets.
Oh, yeah. I can definitely see how that would be a problem.
Ugh.
Early communication about the logistics is key.
Exactly. It's about setting your AV team up for success.
Right.
Which then ensures a smooth, successful event for you.
Absolutely. Speaking of success, let's talk about the event agenda and presentations. Why is it important to share those with the AV team, even if they're not like 100% finalized yet?
Sharing even a rough outline, it just helps them understand the flow. They can anticipate when microphones need to be switched, when lighting cues should change, any tricky transitions that need extra attention. It's like giving them a roadmap for the event.
It's like a behind-the-scenes look at how the event will unfold.
Exactly.
Now, what about the venue itself? What venue-related questions should we be asking?
These are super important. You need to know about the existing AV infrastructure at the venue,
Right.
Do they have built-in screens, projectors? What's their sound system like? And don't forget about potential limitations. Power supply for all the equipment, internet access if you're live streaming. These conversations can prevent a lot of last-minute headaches.
That's a really good point about the internet access. In today's world, connectivity is, it's everything.
It really is. Being aware of those details up front can make a huge difference.
Okay, let's talk about something that can be a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The budget. How do we have an open and honest conversation about budget expectations with the AV team?
Transparency is key. Be upfront about your budget range right from the start. This helps them propose solutions that actually fit within those constraints.
Right.
They can often offer alternative options, maybe suggest prioritizing certain elements to maximize your budget.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where your vision and your budget align.
Exactly. It often involves, that open communication, a willingness to maybe compromise on certain aspects to achieve the overall impact you're going for.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah.
But are there any other questions that we should be asking to really, make sure our event goes smoothly?
Absolutely. We've got that groundwork laid, but let's get into some questions that'll really make you look like, an AV pro.
Ooh, I love it. Insider tips. Lay them on me.
Okay, so going back to that simplified initial screening questions, Doc.
Wow.
One that a lot of people kind of miss is special features.
Right.
This is where you really get to convey that wow factor you're going for.
Okay, so Above and beyond just the basic setup. Give me some examples.
Yeah, like those things that create that really unique experience. Maybe it's live music, so that needs specific audio mixing or some really dramatic lighting.
Right.
Or maybe you've got like VIP speakers,
Mm-hmm.
so they need special lighting, or like a teleprompter setup.
It's like anticipating those special moments that'll make the event really stand out.
Exactly. You highlight these early on. The AV team can, brainstorm, come up with creative solutions.
Okay, love it. I'm adding special features to my mental checklist.
Yep.
What else?
Next up, vendor coordination. Think of your event like an orchestra, right?
Okay.
You've got all these different musicians playing different instruments, but they all have to be in sync to make that beautiful music.
Right.
And at an event, you've got your caterer, florist, photographer, of course, the AV team. It's got to be seamless between all those vendors.
It's like a carefully choreographed dance. Everyone needs to know their steps. What can event planners do to, make sure that happens?
Open communication is key. Share contact info. Make sure everyone knows their roles and responsibilities. Maybe even schedule a pre-event meeting with all the vendors.
Yeah, iron out those wrinkles.
Just get everyone on the same page. All right, and finally, let's not forget about that setup schedule.
Okay.
Give your AV team those load-in, rehearsal, sound check times. That's crucial.
I mean, it seems obvious, but why is it so important?
Well, they need that time to, set up, run test, make sure everything's working flawlessly before the guests arrive.
Right.
Giving them a clear schedule helps them use their time efficiently, avoid delays, prevent those last-minute surprises.
That's like giving them the space and the time to work their magic.
Exactly. And it shows that you respect their time and expertise, which, helps build that strong working relationship.
Right. Builds that trust. So we've got those crucial initial screening questions covered. That's like our roadmap.
Yeah.
But it doesn't end when the event's over.
You got it. That's where that second source comes in. Post-production debrief meeting process. Your secret weapon for continuous improvement.
Ooh, love a good secret weapon. Tell me more about this debrief, like how it works, why it's so valuable.
It's turning hindsight into foresight. That debrief meeting, it's a chance for you, the AV team, other stakeholders to get together and analyze what went well, what could be improved.
Right.
The document, it outlines key points you need to discuss, like what did we do well, areas for improvement, client concerns, future client recommendations.
So it's not just about celebrating what went right, but also like finding those aha moments that can help us do even better next time.
Exactly. So those first two sections, what did we do well, areas for improvement, those are all about reflecting and learning.
Yeah.
Discussing what worked, you can figure out the best practices you want to replicate, and then analyzing those areas for improvement, you pinpoint the weaknesses, and then, come up with strategies.
It's a continuous feedback loop, always getting better.
Yes. Now, those client-focused sections, client concerns and future client recommendations, those are really important to make sure your vision aligns with what they actually delivered. It's your chance to give that honest feedback. Were there any issues that came up? Any changes you want to see next time?
So keeping those lines of communication open even after the event wraps.
Exactly. And, the debrief process also looks at the financial side of things, right?
Right.
So you want to look at expense outliers and change orders.
Okay, so what should event planners be paying attention to when it comes to that?
That section, it's all about getting a clear picture of the financial side of things. Were there any unexpected charges? Outliers and expenses, change orders, it gives you valuable insights into that budget management piece.
So it's not just about reviewing those numbers, but learning from them.
Absolutely. It's about being proactive and, financially savvy.
All right, well, we've covered a ton of ground today, from those initial screening questions to that post-event debrief. So to wrap things up, how about we create a concise AV partner checklist for our listeners? Something they can use to make sure they're hitting all the high points. Okay, so event planners, ready to totally rock your next event with AV that's going to wow everyone.
Totally.
Let's condense all this great info into an AV partner checklist, something you can use to make sure you've got all your bases covered.
I love it. This will give our listeners the confidence to go into those AV conversations and really get what they need for their event.
Okay, first things first, and we can't say this enough, communication, it's key.
Absolutely. Clear, consistent communication right from the get-go, that's the foundation.
So checklist item number 1, communicate clearly, document everything.
Yes. No room for, assumptions here.
Okay, next up, make sure you're painting that vivid picture for your AV partner. Tell them the vibe you're going for. How do you want people to feel when they walk in the room?
Yeah, share your vision, make it vibrant. Don't be afraid to get creative, brainstorm together. Sometimes, the AV team can come up with solutions you hadn't even thought of.
Absolutely. It's a
Mm.
partnership, not like a
Yeah,
dictatorship.
right.
So add this to the checklist. Be open to creative solutions. It's a partnership. Okay, last but not least, that post-event debrief.
Oh, so important.
This is where the real learning happens.
Right.
Actively participate in the post-event debrief.
Yeah.
It's like a treasure hunt for those little golden nuggets of wisdom that can make your next event even better.
What's really cool is that something as simple as a checklist, when you combine that with clear communication, that collaborative mindset, it can really change your whole approach to AV. You go from feeling overwhelmed to feeling totally in control.
Absolutely. Yeah. So listener, what does this all mean for you? It means that even if you don't speak, like fluent tech, you can totally navigate this world of AV and create events that are impactful, memorable. It's about understanding those basics, asking the right questions, building that relationship with your AV team, and you're good to go.
As you're planning your next event, I want you to think about this. What's one AV-related thing that you'll do differently now based on what you've learned today?
Ooh, good question.
Maybe it's really digging into those special features to create that really unique experience. Or maybe it's like really committing to that post-event debrief, get all those juicy insight.
Whatever it is, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep creating those amazing events.